Hey y'all! So today I want to show you some of the neurographic-style doodling that I've been doing. And I say neurographic style because if you look up neurographic art on YouTube, you'll see some fantastic videos for how to do it, and it's like this whole process of self-reflection and working through things and healing, and and I don't do that part. I just do the doodling. So yeah, if you want to like really get into it as part of a self-help, self-improvement thing, watch those videos. If you just want to doodle some lines on paper, watch this video, okay? So yeah, it's in the neurographic style where you just make kind of lines and stuff, and then you round the corners. And then, from what I understand, you go in from there and you color in. So like I'm breaking rules right off the bat because most of mine, or at least a lot of them, are done on gel printed backgrounds that I just keep doing and keep doing because I really like this. I kind of came up with this technique of using alcohol ink and acrylic paints on my gel plate at the same time so that every pull looks kind of grungy, like a cleanup sheet. And I'm absolutely adoring this whole thing. So yeah, there's a video for that you can go watch. I'm always getting asked, what do you do with all of your gel prints? Well, here's one thing that you can do with them. I do have plans to bind these into a book or something at some point. But I also found that I'm really liking this. A tip when you are drawing over a painted page, especially if you've used inexpensive acrylic paints, you can expect to either dry out your pen nib or gunk it up. It's just part of it. To avoid that, you'd probably have to use a juicy paint pen or something, but, pens are tools, and generally I don't buy super expensive ones, so if they dry up, they dry up, whatever. It's worth it for the joy I get out of using them. So anyway, yeah, here's one. These are all painted backgrounds. This is a book page. And they're all have the same principle of, making lines or loops or whatever and then rounding the corners, but in the way I made those lines and loops, I kind of varied it, which made them look all a little bit different. And I like them all, really. This is easy to do. It doesn't require any special skill or, drawing talent or anything, and you can be as random or as intentional as you want. And something I really like to do is just to vary the thickness of the lines, and you can do that by just going over and over lines to make them thicker, or you can use thick and thin pens or markers or whatever you have. And if you are going to paint after, color or paint after you've done your doodle, you'll want to make sure that you use some kind of a permanent waterproof marker. Use your Sharpie or a permanent drawing pen. If that's, not your thing, then it doesn't really matter. This one was a painted gel print background, but then I went in and I just put I made it extra, and I just used some Prismacolor pencils to just add extra bits of color. And that's something fun that you can do, especially if you have gel prints that are just kind of, they're okay, but they're not great. Go ahead and doodle on them, and then use your colored pencils or even watercolors over acrylics, just whatever to spruce them up a bit. I think this is one of my favorites. I just love how this turned out. I like the shape of the lines and the swirls. It was just right. Again, I can't duplicate it. I've tried. I just cannot do it. This one's a good one too. It really came out kind of spider webbish, which I wasn't anticipating, but it did what it wanted to do, and this is what it wanted to do. So yeah, those are my ones that were done over painted papers. And then, you know, I was kind of running through all my painted papers and thought, okay, maybe I should just do some plain ones and color them in. So I found an old journal. I have these on my website for sale. If you would like to look at it, it has this has been run through the ringer. So yeah, I will eventually put a nice cover on it. I don't know what I'll do, if I'll cover it with something or doodle on it, but yeah, I don't care right now. It's got the suede text covers, and then the pages are my favorite hammer mill paper that I use. It's a 32 pound text weight paper, but it's just super smooth, bright white. It's just great for drawing and doodling. Now Sharpies will sink through on occasion. Okay, this one you can see, and I used Sharpies to draw the whole design, but in some places it bled through. Some it didn't. You know, apparently I just left the marker sitting there a little bit longer and got a little bleed through. So yeah, if that's a huge issue for you, then you'll want a sturdier paper than this. This is not a huge issue for me because whether or not it bleeds through, I'm not drawing on the back because I don't want any kind of a shadow or anything showing underneath. What I might do is go back and glue some of these in to the back sides. Yeah, I could see that happening, but I don't care about drawing on the back sides. I don't want to do that. So this one, okay, I doodled this one, and then I colored this in with some of these Uli Rainbow Sparkle watercolor gel crayons. And these were gifted to me by Beth Ann. Thank you very much, Beth Ann. And I'll have a separate video showing these because they're actually kind of fabulous and I'm loving them. But that's what I used here. And they're kind of pearly and blendy and soft and lovely, and I really like them. So I use those here, and then I haven't colored in anything else yet, but I probably will. I did this one, which I super duper love, and I'm gonna have to color it in with something purple because I had gel crayon on my fingers and I smudged right there. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So I'll probably be coloring this in with at least some purple in that area. And this was a simple one. And it never fails that every time I go back and look at these, I find a corner that I forgot to round. You know, you think you've got them all, and then there's just that one that escapes you. So I'm not going to stare too hard or I'll find one and have to fix it. This I love. I did finish this one up last night, and I really love it. And one thing I also do that I don't think is necessarily neurographic is anytime my lines hit the page, I round those out so that it kind of anchors the image to the page. And I don't know if you're really supposed to do that. Maybe you are. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to the instructions. I just got the gist of it and then went my own way. But I like that. I like that look a lot. So yeah, I do that pretty much all of my lines that go off the page. I just anchor them there like that. And then this I started last night, and I thought, because a lot of them, they'll do the Neurographic Doodle, and then they'll go back and like find a circle in the doodle. I didn't want to do that, so I started with circles, and then I'm going to doodle around them somehow. I don't know how. But anyway, that'll be for tonight when I'm watching TV. I'll go ahead and show you how I do this. And you're just going to need some paper of some kind, and you're going to need some pens of some kind. Like I said, you know, if you're going to use wet media over it later, you want to make sure they're waterproof. I chose these 4 pens for a very specific reason, and that reason is that they were not dried out. And I couldn't say that about the other pens in my, what used to be vast collection. I'm down to 4 now. Yeah, these still worked, and they were, you know, permanent, so I picked them. I've got a Sharpie. This has a, you know, like the super fine, what is it, ultra fine and fine. I don't consider that fine, but Sharpie does, you know, it's that one. And then the little bitty one. And honestly, this could be all you need to do this whole thing if you do it like I'm doing. So there's that. I've got this micron. This is a size 01, so it's a teeny little thing. I've got a Staedtler pigment liner. This is a 0.8, so it's fairly thick. I do a lot of the drawing with this one, or at least I did before the nib got all icky. I'm really heavy-handed, so I'm hard on the nibs, and they eventually start doing this, and then my lines get hairy. And I've got this Molotov black liner permanent pigmented water-based indelible ink. This is a 0.5, so it's mid-range. So I've got, you know, a variety of nib sizes to work with, all black. And okay, let's just start. Let's just do a basic one, and let's just put some lines down. You can do straight lines, you can do curvy lines, you can do loop-de-loops, you can do literally whatever you want to do. I think today we're just going to do this, and you do want to go off the page, and this. Ooh, let's make a left turn, and this. And the only thing I try not to do is like go like really close next to this one. I try to leave open areas, so I am a little intentional about it, but you don't have to be. You can be just as random as you want. And I think why not? Okay. This is not pretty, and it doesn't have to be. And I've seen a lot of doodlers or people doing neurographic art who just, you know, they'll have several lines, and they're not as precise as mine. They're just really carefree, free-flowing, super cool looking. So just do it how you want, basically, okay? Now I'm going to zoom in for this so you can see up close what's happening here. And I want to particularly show what happens when I do something like that, because I do it a lot. I'm probably going to have to take my glasses off so I can see. I need bifocals. I'm just too cheap to buy them. Now what I'll do is, if you make, you know, do something like this, you get a little area that you don't like, what I do is I just go in and thicken that line just to make it look like, ooh, I chose to make that thick. And that's why all of my doodles have a variety of thick and thin lines. It's not just because of my pen nibs, it's because I'm fixing mistakes. I can't draw a circle to save my life, so I drew a kind of a circle, and then I just kept thickening the lines and reshaping until it came out kind of circle-ish. So yeah, that's what that is. Alright, so let's use the skinnier one and go in, and then this is just what you do the whole time. You just go just like that. You just make little curves anywhere there's a right angle or, you know, anything straight. You just curve it out. How much you curve it is up to you. And then just fill in. And how fussy you are about filling in and having your curves curved, that's up to you as well. Apparently I'm quite fussy. I'm a fussy doodler. So see, you just do that. Right here where the lines intersect, you're going to curve there. And I want it smooth, so I just keep making it thicker and thicker until it smooths out. And then you do that one, and that one, and that one. And I just kind of vary the, sometimes it's like a really shallow curve, and then other times I make a super deep curve. And as I go around, I'll come back in and smooth out any bumps in my lines, because that's just me. You don't have to do that. And one of these days I'm going to do one of those where they just, kind of scribble all the lines and they're not neat at all, because that looks like it might be fun. But today is not that day. And you can start a line kind of thick and then leave the rest of it thin, at least for now, until you screw up and have to thicken it up to fix it. And I do a lot of these just, sitting in front of the TV with Jason. This is an excellent thing to do for that, because I don't have to really think too hard about it. I just do. And I like that. So, you get the idea, yeah? That's all there is to it. And you just keep doing that and keep doing that. And then, when you're done, you can leave it, nice and open like that, and leave lots of room to color in. Or you can go back in and you can add little nodules here and there, and little connecting lines. And that's what most of these are. They started out really open, lots of open space, and then I went back in and just made these little growths. This is what I call them. And you just go back, just pick a line, doesn't matter, any line, pick a line, and make a little growth, like that, like a little polyp or something, a little tumor, a little benign tumor. Round it out, and there you go. Or you can make a line, and then just everywhere it intersects, you want to round it out. I really can't see what I'm doing, y'all, because normally I have my head right down really close so that I can see what's happening. And I can't do that here, or all you will see is the top of my head, which would be not cool. So hopefully this is coming out okay. Okay, that line just now decided it wanted to be thicker because I couldn't see where what I was doing. So, and I like my curves to be curvy, not too wonky. See that one right there? Boy, that's one that could be easily overlooked, but no, too pointy. So let's curve it out. So that's it. Super simple, right? Lines, random, curvy, straight, whatever. Little nodules. Sometimes I'll do like one shape like that. This pen is, you can tell it's been used on painted paper because it's kind of skippy. So there we go. And then when you're through, it just looks awesome. It will look awesome, like, despite you. You know, in other words, it's just hard to mess this up, or I find that it's hard to mess this up because, you know, if you make a little mark that you don't like, you just thicken it up, and then you've got this, like, what looks like intentional thick and thin lines. No one knows that you were just kind of correcting something that wasn't awesome. And then if this kind of fussy doodle is not your thing, leave them messy and just be you. You do you, right? That's all I've got. I just wanted to show y'all how I do this, and it may not be the way that others are doing it, but that's okay. I'm obviously really enjoying it because I'm doing it a lot. And I might revisit some of these when I go to color them in. Like I did show this one that I did with the Prismacolors. I may have failed to mention that I also blended these with Gamsol. So yeah, there was some blending going on there. And that's all I have. So I hope that you'll give this a try if you're in my Facebook group. If you're not, you can join my Facebook group. There's a link down in the video description. And you can post pictures there so that I can ooh and ah over your doodles and, you know, borrow some of your ideas. And I encourage you to borrow mine as well. And that is all for today, y'all. The end.